Hey guys, welcome back to the Crazy Crafter. This week we have ice scatter terrain. It's gonna be awesome. Grab some hot glue, some dollar store foam core, and a lot of toothpicks. And a lot of hot glue. Did I mention a lot of hot glue? You need a lot of hot glue. Let's go.
All right, everyone, here we go. This week's episode was inspired by an episode on ice scatter terrain that the Crafting Muse did a while back. So, shout out to the Crafting Muse for their inspiration. And we're going to dive right into this build. I cut up some XPS foam, and we're going to use that for our scatter terrain, gathered some toothpicks, and off we go. So once I'd cut up my XPS foam here, a couple round cylinder shapes, I grabbed some little chipboard, some scissors, I grabbed an old toilet paper roll that I thought I might use. I ended up not using that idea, but the dollar store foam core and the toothpicks I did. So I started using hot glue and coating the toothpicks to create the icicle effect. I quickly realized that this was going to take forever, so I grabbed a small piece of foam that my son had been crafting with, and I was like, I'm going to go to town with this. So I began that process, and I had a hard time maneuvering the glue gun around, and I kept getting it stuck to me, so I was like, this is kind of tricky. Tried it a couple times, wasn't happy, so bigger piece of foam that my son has painted red. So good thing it was laying around. I was able to space it out and land the texture on the toothpicks. Oh yeah, these are looking pretty sweet. Oh my god, look at all the wisps. We need to get rid of those before we paint. So after texturing a bunch of toothpicks with the hot glue, I had my icicle set. Now it was time to focus on creating this igloo out of dollar store foam core. If you look on my cutting mat, you can see the toilet paper roll that I'd cut up. I was thinking about making that the entrance to the igloo, but I ended up scrapping that and not going with it. I just left the entrance open. I had another idea for that later on. So a quick note, I used a lot of hot glue on this build for this week, and my supply is pretty depleted actually, so just know if you decide to go this route with creating icicles and creating this texture on your igloo, have some on standby because you're gonna use a lot of it. Just forewarning you now. As you can see, I didn't get it quite flush, so I had to trim it up here a little bit. So I just grabbed the Olfa knife and carefully cut off a little bit extra to try to make sure my base was flush. Then I got really excited. I was like, oh man, I want to shove an icicle right through the middle of this igloo and make it look like it's got an additional support. So I poked it on through there, and once I had that secure, then I could go to town and secure the rest of the base to the top portion of the igloo. And you can see here I'm about $10 into hot glue on this build, or at least by the end of texturing the igloo, I felt like I was knee deep in investing all my hot glue at this point. It's a lot. I can't remember how many glue sticks I used, but I thought it was pretty well worth it. I hadn't tried ice texture covering this much surface area before, and I was pretty happy with how it turned out. Here I took some extra bricks from the dollar store foam core and cut it out just to give a little bit different texture for the top end, or the front end rather. Turned out pretty cool. Then I put more hot glue. I know, shocking. More hot glue for this build. Now it was time to assemble the ice columns little bit of hot glue, because more hot glue, more hot glue. And then brought out that trusty blowtorch for more texture. Really enjoying playing around with the blowtorch to create some cool texture on the terrain. I just only really begun, but certainly a lot of fun to use on the terrain. But you see there, you can get some really cool deep crevices. I'm going to keep experimenting and playing with that, seeing what else I can create for future builds. Here I took a couple of the toothpicks I had textured, inserted them into the foam of the pillars, and secured them with a little bit of hot glue in there. Now is the time to mix up a little bit of aqua in my Mod Podge mix and give all these things a base coat. So with the toothpicks and the ice columns, I was not super thrilled with how they turned out. I thought they looked okay, and they'll certainly be cool on the table, but the rest of these came out pretty good. I like the different walls and obstructions that I created. Definitely some fun here. Then it was time to go back and paint the igloo. So once I got all this, I went back with everything after this aqua Mod Podge and gave it a dry brushing in that light blue you can see in the background there, and a light dry brushing in white. And the result turned out pretty good. Check it out. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I felt the igloo needed more. So these Citadel skulls were pretty cool. I added one on top, and I was like, that'll be fun. And then I was like, actually, what this needs is all of the skulls, right? So I ended up lining the entire bottom base of the floorboard entrance to the igloo here with skulls, with super glue, and very, very dangerous. So this is a lovely igloo of death. Gave all the rest of the terrain bits the same bit of dry brushing there, and this thing was ready to go. The next step was a little bit of sealant, and we were done.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this week's video build. If you liked it and you found it useful, awesome. Give it a like. Let me know in the comments below if you've built this type of terrain before on the scatter terrain. Have you used it for your Frostgrave table or on your D&D tabletop? Let me know. I'd love to hear more about how you go about building the ice scatter terrain. Thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this content and you want to see more of it. Hit that bell notification and give this video a like as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys every Sunday on our live stream, which is where I'm going to be spending most of my time with this channel now. I'm going to be putting all my focus and energy into the live stream and back into you guys, my community members. That means everyone out there in my subscriber and my viewership and beyond. I'm interested in your builds. What are you building? What are you working on? I want to see it. I want to share it. This week we did ice scatter terrain. Have you built that? I want to see it. I want you to share it with the community and how you went about it. There are so many great minds and fellow crafters and enthusiasts out there that frankly can do this way better than I can. And I am excited to bring those people to the limelight, to the forefront, to feature their work. And I think it'll be cool for all of us to get together and talk about it and how we employ it in our games and just to sit down and hang out and craft for a while. So I'm looking forward to that. Stay tuned. More info on the weekly live stream will come to light, and I'll ask you guys for your help for that. If you want to submit footage to be discussed on the live stream and you want to join us on the live stream and come hang out, all you have to do is email me at the channel. It's crazycrafterchannel1983@gmail.com, and we'll get you in there. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. This has been a blast. I'm excited for the next step in the evolution of this channel, and I'll see you out there. Be sure to craft your passion daily. Have fun. Be safe.